Coming up tonight, airspace monitoring to increase. Prime Minister takes the lead in route march. And eye specialists needed. Good evening, I'm Sandra Assam. A week-long meeting for the aviation industry for the Pacific region ended today in Nandi, where most of the discussions surrounded on ways to improve coordination between countries in monitoring of the airspace.
Attended by more than 7 countries, the week-long meeting is a testimony of the ability for regional aviation industries to work together towards better monitoring of our airspaces. Managing the region's upper airspaces have been a challenge for Pacific Island countries due to the limited resources in modern technology that we have. However, working together may be the solution to addressing this problem.
An informal group of air traffic management or air navigation service providers that in this particular region are meeting regularly each year to look at improvements to the air traffic management system and coordination between the different countries because once out there, up in the particularly the upper levels of aviation, what we call our flight information region, there's all kinds of different aircraft flying in that region, not necessarily coming to Fiji, but flying over Fiji, and similarly to other countries. So to have a coordination of all those integrated upper airspace type of flights, this type of meeting is critical to make sure that the different countries are all coordinated in terms of technology and understandings on how we all interact for safety reasons.
Managing our airspaces for aircrafts that will not land but will fly across has been the main topic at the 5-day meeting. An integrated and coordinated approach is needed by regional countries. Attorney General and Minister for Civil Aviation Ayaz Sayed-Khaiyum last night made the keynote address on expectations of people of the Pacific towards this very important sector.
We need to share and indeed collaborate with each other as far as knowledge base is concerned, as far as technology is concerned, because we simply do not have the economies of scale to be going off individually and creating our own services to provide to other countries. So there is definitely a need to collaborate and to work in partnership with many of the other bigger countries, and of course to work with many of the vendors who can provide solutions to us that are not just practical but economically efficient.
The meeting, which ends today, has been attended by representatives of aviation industries from Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, Japan and Chile.
Next week, Prime Minister Bainimarama will announce the procedures for public consultations for the formulation of the new Fijian constitution. The new constitution will affirm that there will be no discrimination, no ethnic voting, and establish the democratic principle of one person, one vote, one value, Prime Minister Bainimarama says. The Prime Minister and Commander of the Republic of Fiji Military Forces, Vorange Bainimarama, this morning led the way to fitness by marching with his men on a forced route march through Suva. The route march is a quarterly event which occurs every year.
Just after a few days commenting on why Fijian and Pacific Island soldiers need to be fed by the head of the multinational forces and observers, David Starfield, the commander of the RFMF led more than 650 military personnel, naval officers and prison officers for a 15-kilometer march early this morning. The march started from Mid Road through Loboni and Rewa Street, Flagstaff around Suva Point to the golf course in Vatuanga, and walked back to Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Nambua. Chief of Staff Operations Lieutenant Colonel Amani Suliano said this route march is a quarterly event which occurs each year.
So this morning is just to be a route march, walking a distance of 15 kilometers. We started off at 6 this morning and we intend to go back into camp at 9:30. So it's just an exercise, a test of fitness, plus just trying out comradeship. It's also been a long time whereby this has been done, whereby all the forces, training group plus the Navy, coming together to do such an exercise. So it's just really to test our fitness and our comradeship.
Lieutenant Colonel Suliano said the fitness exercise also enable men and women in the force to talk and walk with their leader.
The Fijian government is continuing with its support of empowering rural women. This was a statement made to the United Nations Commission on Status of Women by the Minister for Women, Dr. Chico Luveni.
The United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, or CSW, in New York this week heard about the progress made by the Fijian government in economically empowering its rural women. Minister for Social Welfare, Dr. Chico Luveni, while presenting an update on Fiji's status, revealed that the Fijian government's continued efforts to empower rural women continues into leadership roles and decision-making bodies. Dr. Luveni reveals that of the 3 high chiefs of the 3 confederacies in Fiji, 1 is a lady, and there are 225 women chiefs of traditional clans compared to the over 1,000 men. The minister also told the UN Commission that more than 300 women in Fiji are members of hospital boards and village committees. She also revealed 15 local communities have been declared violence-free after they implemented the Domestic Violence Decree and the Zero Tolerance Violence-Free Community Program. Dr. Luveni also pointed out on the microfinance opportunities available, saying that the microfinance unit in Fiji has revealed majority of their clients, or 78%, are women, while 60% of the clients for the National Center for Small and Micro Enterprise Development are women in rural areas.
Coming up after the break, climate change policy launched, FICAC partners Singatoka Town, and eye specialists sought after.